Welcome back to Amy Stadium, or welcome if you're joining us for the first time. Round 2 clash between the Adelaide Crows and the Sydney Swans. Swans have not beaten Adelaide since 2004. The Crows have won the last 6 against the Swans. Bright sunshine, perfect conditions. Let's look at the lineups, guys.
Well, the Sydney Swans lineup is actually very, very good. If you go through each line, they've got some experience, but they've also got some real class there as well. Added some speed this year. Looking forward to seeing what happens in the midfield, because I think the game will be won and lost in there. Like their forward setup, Adam Goods down there. He needs some support today by the likes of Bradshaw, obviously, and Jesse White.
And obviously, Keith, these conditions will really suit him. Looking forward to seeing number 32 starting an interchange, Lewis Jetta. He'll set the park alight. Mumford obviously recruiting from Geelong. Canali, as we talked about, some of the best half-backs in the competition in Sean Malcheski. As we see there, Shane Mumford, interesting starting on the bench. Him and Seaby. Seaby recruited from the West Coast Eagles. Big opportunity for these two boys.
Oh, it is, and obviously Geelong were a bit disappointed to lose Mumford at the end of last year. He was coming along nicely, but gives them an opportunity. I mean, Seaby is an important player for Sydney. They think they can get a fair bit out of him. When, of course, they lost Darren Jolly. But they're the sort of players, as we see the Crows hit the deck here. It's not a full house, but it's a beautiful afternoon for footy.
I think it'll, as soon as those barbecues will now be turned off, Pickers, it'll be chock-a-block here in about 5 minutes.
Wonderful afternoon for football, Easter Sunday. We've seen some ripping games so far. Brett Burton back in the side, you can see there. Some of those young running players certainly struggled a bit last week.
We'll have a look at the Crows team here, Pickers, and it's fair to say the forward line really broke down. I think it had a lot to do with the slow ball movement. So the backs in, Edwards, Doherty, Goodwin, they need to run the ball and take them on Bock, as we talked about. It's got a big job on Goods. Rutten, he's been the pillar of defence there for a number of years. Walker was terrific. Tippett, for pleasure, great to see him back. He's kicked 9 goals on the last 2 occasions. Seller there, Dangerfield. So their forward line's starting to look a lot more composed, and obviously Brett Burton starting on the bench is terrific also.
Well, I think everyone's dropped off the Crows a little bit because of their poor effort last week in Fremantle. It may be the real deal, Fremantle. We'll see a little bit later on.
Magnificent crowd in, and perfect conditions for these two clubs coming off losses in round 1. Amy Stadium, barely a spare seat in the house, certainly in the lower sections. People happy to sit in the bright sunshine. Marich in the ruck. Against him, Seaby. We're underway. Seaby dives in immediately. You heard the umpire barking instructions already. Fly, but no mark to Vince. And we'll get another ball up. Hanbury. Ty Kennelly coming off a 28 possession game last week in his return game with Jetta. He almost bounces every time he gets at Jetta. He's got the Craig Bradley style of bouncing 2 steps into his run. Inside 50, 2 on 1. Adelaide with the 2. Dancing through Jesse White.
Ben McGlynn's on his own.
And Kennedy should find him. He does.
Look at this.
And McGlynn won't miss from there. Hallelujah. We've got a goal. Lewis Roberts-Thompson handled that behind Kennelly. Had to go back and give it back. Good slow if you want another touch. Douglas sprints onto it, kicks goalward, and nails it for Adelaide's first. O'Keefe wide and just inside the line.
Well, it means
taken by Jesse White.
It means that Adelaide have got the ascendancy of the mark, because Jesse White is their full forward getting the ball in the wing. So Adelaide are really manning the mark, and they've got their defensive pressure back.
Corridor open here.
Goods. Go to Matner. Malcheski over the top. Seaby. Forward pocket on his own.
Well, Adelaide have been really good, as I've said a couple of times, in the zone, but they half were trying to force them down the line, but they left 2 free players in the middle of the ground. They were 2 running players. It was Matner and Malcheski. I mean, if you're going to leave the corridor open, you don't leave it open to blokes that 1 can run and 2 can kick.
Should tip it off. We've tipped into time on. Opening term. His first goal in Sydney colours. Mark Seaby threads the goal. His first for the Swans, and the Swans in front.
Lee Cole, with these hot conditions, it seems to be an extraordinary amount of interchanges at the moment.
It's been busy down here, Danny. 21-20 in favour of the Sydney Swans in this first quarter.
We're tipping a world record today, Colby, so keep an eye on that. I know you're sitting down there with the zinc cream on.
The most notable thing is that Adelaide are trying to go small. That's the most notable thing in this first quarter.
McVeigh, Moore, Kirk, all combined to get it inside 50 to
done.
Bradshaw. Spins onto the left, bounces it in. That's his first goal. 3-3 to 1-3. Played 24 minutes opening term. Ball over the back of the ruck contest. McLeod, normally clever. How good's that? How good is that man? It's a great picture, the one-on-ones.
Oh, see, that's poor defence. And that's from Goodwin.
Well, super poor from Taylor Walker.
Sorry, Goodwin. Goodwin. Scotty Thompson.
Scotty Thompson, but also Taylor Walker there, Pickers. He was standing 5 metres off that area, just stationary. He wasn't even watching the kicker.
Well, the only way they're going to get the ball in there, they weren't going to bang it long, would be a hit-up target. So Scotty Thompson to allow him to run into space.
A little wobbly last week in front of goal. 1 goal, 3. Not wobbly now, kicks his first. Ryan O'Keefe. Matner takes on Port Pleasure. Corrals him. Back inside and they're away. Jetta.
Well, he'll play on. We know that.
2-step bounce.
He's got to turn around a bit here. Tall option, White. He's back to the play.
And Goods gets it from McVeigh.
Bok lost him in traffic there.
Well, Henschel's now on White. Good running.
Seaby.
Good running.
Still only 25 years of age, Mark Seaby, even though it seems like he's been around for a while. And he kicks his second goal. Biggest lead of the game so far, 17 points.
No easy ball to be had in that passage of play there, Dwayne.
Absolutely. And Will Young, the first gamer for Adelaide, there on the second gamer, Lewis Jetta for the Swans. Big task for him. Doughty, little fumble. McGlynn, half had him but didn't have him enough to be holding the man. Dangerfield through traffic. Petrenko sidestep. McKay. Poor pleasure. McVeigh, another sidestep. Pops the kick to Jared Moore. It's like shelling peas. Easy as you like for the Swans.
Now we'll see him there in this contest. Seaby's pushing forward, so to let Mummy do the ruck work.
Dangerfield tries to break through, can't, still in there. Kennedy gave it out, Hanbury handballed to himself and then got it back again for a kick. Kirk.
Good kick under pressure from the young fella.
McVeigh.
We've transferred the ball beautifully today, Sydney, to the open side.
Matner takes off. Craig Bolton. He's got McGlynn peeling onto it. Gets there and brilliant mark under pressure.
Outstanding. It was terrific passage of play. They continually look for the switch. And what that does, Pig, is it creates the run. And they're half forwards in more.
Oh, it's 50 as well.
50.
Well, he didn't have his eyes on the ball, maybe, but...
Gee, I'll tell you what it was. If you go back, he was on this side of the ground, Bernie Vince. His effort to even get there and try to spoil was outstanding.
He missed him anyway.
A tough 50, though, Dwayne.
Oh, sir.
He's going for the spoil.
Yeah.
The double-fisted spoil.
I'm with you. 29 points the margin. Cloud. Thompson. Lead comes White Burton. He was half grabbed there by Craig Bolton. Let him go in time. Burton tucked into the boundary. High kick. Petrenko and Tippett off hands. Taylor Walker gives it to Petrenko. Sidestep. Had it. Dropped it. He was caught and dropped it. No free. Still alive the ball. Petrenko. Third time lucky. Cuts the margin to 23. Got a little bit of momentum at the moment, Adelaide. Don't want to give it back. Goods shoots it over the top. McLean doesn't give it off this time. He's the game breaker. He's got 3. 29 points the margin. 22 minutes gone. Second term. Burton. He's rusty all right.
Yeah, the foot skills was great, though.
This is what I'm liking about the Swans as well as hitting the corridor. They're using their handball a lot.
Kennelly missed the target. Craig Bolton. Kennelly dives back in to try and mop up his mess. Still in there, and it comes out. Grundy, half held, make that fully held. Wins the 3.
You're right, there's about 20 more handballs, Sydney, and that's creating run in the handballs. A lot of their handballs are going forward. Adelaide are out the back.
They've slowed them up today, no doubt.
They're rolling the dice, boys, with Goodwin as well. He just came back on the ground to see if he can get back into the game.
And Jetta took off on him. Got the possession. Jesse White. O'Keefe whacks it on the boot. Kirk! It was never his ball till he marked it.
Well, Trent Henschel, he was on the key forward and elected to come off Jesse White, which opened it up for Brett Kirk. At some stage, if you're playing in defence, you have to stay on the most dangerous opponent. He elected to... Here he is, Henschel there. And what that did, it created the overlap for Sydney.
That's a crucial mistake from Trent Henschel. He looks all at sea in defence.
20 seconds,
So it'd be nearly on his distance, wouldn't it? Brett Kirk? Oh, back in because the longest kick in the AFL by any stretch. Oh, back in
Close to the man on the mark. Gives it some sky. It's there.
Never in doubt.
The Crows on the canvas. Absolutely. Looks like he's enjoying Easter. Brett Kirk, not too sure how Buddhists celebrate Easter, but
They're allowed to have eggs?
I'm sure he's celebrated with chocolate like most of us. He's celebrated with the goal there. Quick kick out of the middle by Jack. They're away again. Knocked down. Shot at goal from Kennedy. In fact, he's gone for Bradshaw.
They're nearly cooked here, Adelaide. They're nearly cooked. Their heads are down. It's a hot day. Sydney with all the momentum. Their players are playing in front. Look at this. They're just attacking the ball harder. He should have been a little bit closer. The kick was maybe a bit lucky, but gee, this will be a massive lead.
Just a formality, you'd think, for Daniel Bradshaw.
Good kick.
And that's goal number 499 for his career.
Before the game, we talk about avenues to goal. Adam Goods was the shining light last week against the Saints. He hasn't worried the scorebook. He's played well, but we've had 6 different goal kickers. Not only that, we've had some multiple goal scorers. McGlynn with 3. We've got Seavey there, the ruckman with 2, and of course Daniel Bradshaw with 2. So Paul Roos and the coaching staff will be wrapped. And it's been the ball use and the way they've been able to dictate the play with their forwards, isolating the one-on-ones.
Sydney Swans electing not to rest Michael O'Loughlin's old number 19 for a year. Handed it over to Daniel Bradshaw, and the goals continue to come from it. And the ball up.
High tackle, Kieran Jack.
So another free and another clearance coming up for Sydney. 26 minutes gone, second term. Big couple of minutes coming up here. This game could be beyond Adelaide at half-time. O'Keefe takes the mark.
Well, they'll need to rejig a bit here. They're getting nothing out of the centre square. Ryan O'Keefe's had a great impact in the match. This is his 16th possession. He's been on ball mainly. But just look, he just ran straight past his opponent there. Outworked him.
Well, we know he's one of the hardest gut runners in the competition, Ryan O'Keefe.
This is kickable for him. No breeze blowing in his face. Runs to 51. Sets sail. Never in doubt. They lead by 47. Takes them on down the corridor. Not a lot to go to. Runs around Matner. Runs into trouble. Turns it over to Matner. He runs backwards.
Bounce it at some stage.
Grundy.
Look at that. The side of the ground.
It's actually been better for Adelaide. The Swans, I gave it to them. They took it back to Adelaide territory. Marich gets him in the tackle. Handballs. To the way just in time. Kennedy. He's caught. Goods. Untidy 30 seconds this. Goods gets it over. Malcheski's away. Spears this ball and just inside 50, Jesse White can't mark. Bounced off his chest. A let off there for Adelaide. Edwards. Sweeping handball to McKay. A minute to go. Inside to Dangerfield. Can he use it? That's the big question.
Nothing to kick to.
Well, he's got the long. He's caught though.
And Seavey behind the ball and Lewis Roberts-Thompson.
Riley to tip it. One last chance here for Adelaide. Over the head of Taylor Walker. Petrenko. It wasn't even his ball.
It doesn't matter, but he's in the right spot. And it was good play by Tippett because he looked up and he saw Lewis Roberts-Thompson, Seavey. So at least he lowered his eyes and tried to hit up a target. He's probably a little bit about what he's been trying to do as a forward. You're right, Dwayne. Didn't go to Petrenko, but he's got a shot on goal.
Gee, he needs to kick it. They desperately need something to go into half-time with a little bit of momentum. Sydney have kicked the last 4 goals.
He was knocked out earlier. He bounced back. Adelaide looked knocked out. Maybe they can bounce back. And takes it on. Double grab from Burton, but he gives it back. And they're away here. 1-on-1 inside 50. Dangerfield gets there.
Good job.
Morrow. Starts it right, brings it back. Happy birthday. Cuts the margin under 40. Up. Kirk had it, lost it, and then was grabbed. McVeigh. Malcheski sends it along over the head of Goods. Bradshaw attacks it, gives it up. McGlynn, he was on fire early and still on fire now. The instant reply, he's got 4. Adelaide out of trouble here.
Better again.
Bit of protection.
Okay.
It's a good runner.
Will Young does well. Gives it back to the runner. He sends it
well
long.
done,
Dangerfield.
Well
He could
done.
be the man.
Not happy, Nick Malcheski, but it was again David McKay.
Yeah.
He's the one that's initiating the run, and he's a very clever forward, this young boy.
Well, again, it's the cut and run from David McKay, as you said, Pickers, through the middle of the ground. When he gets the ball, just protect him. He's on fire at the moment.
Yeah, I reckon it won't be too long before you see a defensive player go on to McKay and really try and shut him down, close him down. He started with Jetta. He's too clever for Jetta there at the start of this quarter. He's now back on the ground, Lewis.
And this is a matchup. I think Malcheski, he's got his hands full with Dangerfield at the moment.
2 goals for the quarter to Paddy Dangerfield. The Crows have life. Spots an avenue. Kennedy. Malcheski over the head of Bradshaw. O'Keefe was there. Bradshaw peeling back onto it. To 2-on-1 now. O'Keefe, a steal, and a brilliant steal at that. Play on. Will Young heard the play on
Good
late.
corralling Will Young.
Walls it to half forward. Big fly
big
tip it. Mumford claims the mark. Knew it wasn't his.
McGlynn's on his own again.
Oh, Kennedy just think do. And McGlynn kicks the goal.
Good chasing Daniel Bradshaw here. He's entering the goal square, Bradshaw.
And now the open space opens up. Goodman. It's got McLeod who can go all the way.
Have to
Have a
come in.
bounce, size them up, run inside 50 and show your class. Oh boy, does it get any better than that?
Neil Craig's told his boys the bailout kick.
Dangerfield, he started all this in this term. Oh, he keeps it rolling. And there's the kick long and hope. Dangerfield, use of the body, spectacular.
Well, it was a beautiful weighted kick, and Mattner was just spectating the ball. He lost direct contact and vision of Patrick Dangerfield. It was a great weighted kick. You just see Mattner there trying to find the body, but Dangerfield initiated contact at the perfect time when the ball was in the drop zone. He's a very good forward, this lad.
Got a fair run up here.
He's kicked 3. 3 goals, 1 to be precise. All 3 in the third term at the other end. They might be in the ambulance, but they're not dead yet.
Sydney, you love these situations here, Dwayne. Just taking some time off the clock. Stoppage after stoppage. Harder for longer.
Moore. O'Keefe. Goods. He'll get the jump. Dowdy fell.
Mismatch there, Dowdy on Goods in that marking situation.
Yeah, they've had a good day in the coach's box today, the Swans. Everything they've tried basically worked to date.
He's played a cameo today with his other 2 half forwards, Adam Goods. He was outstanding. Their best player last week, Dwayne.
Well, he's arguably the greatest Sydney Swan ever. 3rd on the all-time Swans games played list.
Hello.
2-time Brownlow medalist. And they can smell a big win now. There was a pick 14 at last year's draft, Jetta, and he looks like giving them value for that pick. Cook shuffles the handball. Poor pleasure. Thumps it long. A 2-on-2. Taylor Walker through hands. Riley. Henschel.
There's the man.
Dangerfield again.
It's better play. They opened it up for Dangerfield. That was better work from their half forwards. When you got a guy on song like this, I know we don't want just predictable play, but their only avenue to goal at the moment is either run and carry and kick a goal from play or get it to Dangerfield one-on-one.
Yeah, there's no other option in there that looks dangerous enough to get them back into this match with 6.5 minutes left and a 6 and a bit goal deficit. He's such a powerful kick, this kid.
Good timing of the ball. Off the boot.
He's got 4. Birthday boy set sail. His first ever 5-goal game. Mumford tried his heart out.
Spoke's been good as well.
Grundy spears it towards Bradshaw. Searching for goal 500. He's stuck on 499. Has been for a while. Gives to Moore. Sends it long. Jack runs in and goals. It's party time now for the Swans.
Great forward play, great options. The dangerous space in that situation, all the Sydney Swans tall forwards lit up the ground as we see Bradshaw. He was the key forward, which opened up the vacuum. So that's great connection and synergy within your forward half. And you see Kieran Jack Clay in the midfield running into the void that Bradshaw left. So that is fantastic forward play. The isolation and the creation of space for each other today has been outstanding for Sydney.
It was just too quick in the end.
The picture tells 1,000 words. Time to go.
Let's beat the traffic and get home. We're pretty disappointed with our team today.
Adelaide Crows have never missed the finals under Neil Craig, and they're staring, well, they have got a 0-2 start. So it's going to be a long road to come back from here. It's been a while since Port Adelaide's been 2 wins ahead of the Adelaide Crows on the ladder as well.
Only about 4K into the marathon though, Dwayne.
It is, but it's difficult when you trip out of the stadium.
Well, they're going to be 2 beltings they've had. That's the problem. Trip out of the stadium. What did they lose by last week? What was it? The final? It was about 10 goals.
56 points.
56. This is fast becoming a 10-goal whacking as well. You've got to build a lot of percentage to get back. You're going to have an awful percentage after today. They're not kicking enough goals themselves.
Josh Kennedy. Yet to kick a goal in Swans colours.
Oh, well done, son.
Everybody's getting a part of it. There's your evener-upper.
Now, just got to maintain some strong body language here, Adelaide.
Burton, can he get there? Can he hold it? Can he goal it on the crumb? Runs in, needs something. And maybe, finally, starting to get some touchback. Bock wide. Burton, called to play on. In the side, Craig Bolton. Here they go again. Goods, Mumford, Goods. Wobbles a kick wide.
McGlynn's running forward again.
Grundy. He can go all the way to McGlynn here. Puts it up in front of him. He can get and go if it sits. It doesn't sit. He flicks it. Kennedy makes it a 2-on-2. Runs into traffic. Back to McGlynn. He's got Jude. Gives to Jude. Jude gives to Kennedy. They just keep mixing it up. Kennedy pulls out the winning raffle ticket. Last time the Swans had a victory against Adelaide, it was way back in 2004. But Paul Roos, his last season as coach, his 8th season as coach, should be impressed by this new band of Swans. 8 imports from other clubs, and the chemistry was there today. Sydney by a massive 43 points at the final siren, and the Adelaide Crows start with a 0-2 scoreline. Neil Craig's boys will start with the back markers in 2010.